Hello everyone, I am Scuttlest, and welcome to a little update on the Warriors Orochi forefront, courtesy of the recent stream on June 9th. I myself watched the stream live. If you did as well, you may have seen me here and there in the chat. In this stream we got our first look at gameplay, our first look at Zeus's design, and our first look at divine artifacts in action, amongst a number of other things that we'll be talking about in this video. To cut straight to the chase on our first point of discussion, let's look right at Zeus's design. And this gives me some mixed feelings. In particular, why in the world does he look so young? I mean, not young exactly, just much younger than how he's normally designed in media. He's supposed to be the patriarch of the Olympian gods, so this unusually youthful Zeus design kind of rubs me the wrong way. And now, there's nothing wrong per se to making a character's design unexpected. I'm sure none of us expected Neja to be a cyborg, and I still like that design quite a bit. But as I said, he is the patriarch of the Olympian gods. After seeing this design, if any of the other Olympian gods show up and look visibly older than Zeus, I'm gonna be left rolling my eyes. Speaking of the other Olympians, we can see a new character here next to Zeus. No word on who this is, but looking at what we can see of the design, I guess that it's a pirate-themed version of Poseidon, the Greek god of the sea, and one of Zeus's brothers. I do hope the more traditional Zeus design can be in the game in some way. Maybe an alternate costume? Beyond his youthful look for a Zeus design, I'd like to draw attention to the wings he seems to have. I feel like this could be a reference to the original mythology where Zeus sometimes transformed into an animal when having intercourse, though it really seems quite unnecessary in his design and kind of off-putting to me. Mind you, while seeming to be wings, when seen in motion during his gameplay they almost look more like a pair of scarves, or maybe a cape. All in all, his design just doesn't strike me as a convincing villain design. Hopefully Orochi will pull the rug out from under him before long. Moving on, let's discuss the gameplay we've seen. The first thing we see is a battle that seems to be the Tokugawa Samurai Warriors versus both Wu and Lu Bu's forces from Dynasty Warriors, with the player on the side of the Tokugawa army. Lu Xun, Naotora E, and Yin King are the played-as characters, but I wouldn't read too much into that in regards to the story. This particular trio of playable characters looks like it's just catering to the popularity polls. There are a number of things to take from this gameplay. First, let's be a bit cosmetic and look at the character portraits next to the text boxes. The thing that reached out at me while I was watching the stream was how these portraits look to be cropped somewhat. It's very noticeable when Naomasa E is talking when a bit of his chin seems to get cut off. Furthermore, it seems that only the normal speaking portrait is available, with the other happy, angry, and etc. portraits nowhere to be seen. That's honestly a fairly little thing, but it was kind of bugging me when watching the stream. So I just hope that it's just due to still being in development and they'll add in the other emotion portraits later. To get to the meat of the gameplay we saw, the biggest thing we can get is our first look at divine artifacts in motion. The first three characters we see played as all demonstrate their own divine artifact. Quick FYI, every character in the game has a divine artifact. As I assumed, it seems to be a successor of sorts to the R1 specials of Orochi 3. But rather than pull from the Muso meter, this mechanic has been given its very own meter below the Muso meter. When using divine artifacts, the artifact in question seems to hover by your chosen character and emit light. It honestly looks a little visually obnoxious and covers a bit too much of the screen, so I just hope an option to tone it down exists in the final game. When you use divine artifacts, this meter is drained, but it seems to automatically refill, and very quickly as well. How much is drained depends on the attack. In the trailer, we saw both attacks that take only a small amount, and attacks that took the entire bar. Speaking of bars, the two-segmented bar above the divine artifact bar is the Muso meter. Seeing as it's separated into two pieces, you might think that a Muso attack will just drain one of those segments. But as seen in the video, a Muso attack oddly takes the whole meter. In terms of game difficulty, nothing in the video stood out to me as particularly difficult. It's probably easy on purpose for demonstration purposes. Though the player did noticeably almost get killed by Lu Bu, and has to make an emergency change to Lu Xun near the end of the battle. Hopefully, in terms of difficulty, higher difficulty settings in Warriors Orochi 4 can be like Chaos difficulty in Warriors Orochi 3 Ultimate. One of the few Warriors games with a difficulty setting where the generic peons can actually be a valid threat, just due to how aggressive they are. On the subject of being killed and losing the battle, when this happens, the game gives you one of three options: restarting from a checkpoint, restarting the entire battle, or quitting to the title screen. And I'll take those options over always being booted back to a menu when I lose. The last major gameplay bits we see are Zeus's Muso attack, and a look at a new team attack, which seems to be Warriors Orochi 4's successor to the true triple attack of Warriors Orochi 3. This new team attack is a fair bit more cinematic as the characters create a large glob of energy and then throw it at the enemy. Funnily enough, when they use the attack in the stream, we can see right through the floor. Hopefully that won't be a thing in the full release. Also, the attack seems to require the diamond-shaped meter directly below the character portrait, as it is full before the attack starts, but empty once the attack is over. To speak of this new team attack, notice that it involves 7 characters rather than just 3. 4 characters generate the ball of energy, and then your 3-man team is the one that forces it at the ground. The first 4 characters are support characters that are selected beforehand. It seems likely, not absolutely confirmed yet, but likely that we'll have 7 character teams this time around, even if we continue to only directly control the standard 3-person team. Moving to a different subject, let's talk about deification. We previously knew that only certain key characters in the story would get these power-ups, but we didn't know the number of how many. Some estimated as many as 30 characters would get these outfits. But in this stream, it was confirmed that only a mere 8 characters get deifications. Zhao Yun and Yukimura are already confirmed, so that leaves 6 unknowns. To speak personally, speculation on my part, I imagine that Lu Bu will get a deification, because they likely wouldn't miss the chance to give special treatment to the hyped-up demon. After Lu Bu, I'd be willing to bet that the other deifications will be given to characters that dominate popularity polls, characters like Mitsunari Ishida or Yin King. Next up is something you can always expect with Koei Tecmo games: pre-order bonuses. We start off with the obligatory Treasure Box Edition, and as is standard, we can assume that we'll be getting none of these physical goodies over here in the West outside of importing. Then there's the Digital Deluxe Edition. Buy this and you'll get immediate access to the Season Pass, a weapon for Lu Bu, Tadakatsu Honda, and Orochi, as well as one immediately unlocked character. Which character you unlock is dependent upon which version you get the Digital Deluxe Edition for. If you got it for the PS4, you'll get immediate access to Kyubi. If you get it for the Switch, it's instead immediate access to Tamamo. Speaking of the Switch, it's confirmed that the difference between the PS4 version and the Switch version is just hardware specs. There is no content exclusive to either version. Though it has been confirmed that the Switch version will have Joy-Con support. Kyubi and her alter ego Tamamo being immediately available from a deluxe edition bonus does make me raise an eyebrow though. Them getting that treatment gives me the suspicion that they don't show up in the story and are free mode only characters. But I could be wrong there. I could see Hoon-Dun, Human Neja, and Ying Long also being free mode only characters. Early purchasers will also be getting special costumes for Shu Shu, Mitsunari Ishida, and Da Ji. While there are no pictures, there will also be special costumes for Guo Jia, Wang Yuanji, Hayakawa, and Wang Yi. These costumes are store exclusive in Japan, but looking at DW9 store exclusive costumes, we can hold out for the idea that Westerners can get all the costumes bundled together if they pre-order. Last pre-order incentive, and this is a digital pre-order bonus, a Pegasus. Despite having wings, there's no indication that it can fly. Chances are the wings are just a bit of cosmetic fluff and it's basically just a horse with a unique look. It's probably sort of a head start bonus, puts the starting horse to shame, but still falls well short of Red Hare's speed. Since it's a Pegasus, those who know me quite well might be expecting me to reference a certain trio of characters, but I'll hold off on that. Lastly, the release date, for Japan at least, is confirmed as September 27th. I think we can expect that those of us in the West will be waiting an extra month or two before we're playing it ourselves, of course. And with that, we've covered all the news to be said from this stream. As a friendly reminder, there will be another Warriors Orochi 4 official livestream sometime in August. You can trust that I'll be there and see what information we can glean out of that one. And with that, we're wrapping up this video. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time.